Hi Sarah, how you doing? I've got your magazine up, and thank you so much for getting this submitted. So I just want to get into taking a look at the couple of areas of concern. Okay, and I'm going to give you some examples. So when I talk about things like this, I'd like to see a deck in here. I think that's really important, and I'm going to show you what that means. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is the headline is really super confusing, and I think the reason, you know what, I want to pull that out all the way back up. The headline is super confusing because is that one word? Is that two words? Cybernetics. It doesn't even really roll off the tongue very well. I'm thinking if you want to keep the cap, just move this up so that at least they're touching, so that the viewer knows that okay, that's one word, and it wouldn't have the propensity to want to pronounce this as cybernetics because of that space and that space. That's going to amplify that the way that you read that in your mind, and you're going to have a big break between the two. If you move that up and somehow just bring these closer in proximity, I think it'll remedy that situation. I'd like to see a deck on this page. And what's a deck? A deck is this. Let me show you. Under the headline, this is a really great example. Under the headline, there's usually sometimes it's a whole paragraph. Here's another one right here. I didn't want to do that, so let's get out of there. But right here, okay, and you just see them used all the time. Not that this is a great layout right here, but right here. Okay, and it's just a way of introducing the article. Typically, a deck is the same. It would be the same width as your two columns. So it would be a long character count. So you may want to think about how you would adjust for that. Maybe using larger type. Perhaps setting it in a different typeface. A lot of different possibilities there, as we can see in examples like this. Okay. And then you have by. You should have a byline. Who is this article by? And then you have this. This is your subhead. So I'm not real sure about this subhead here. It's just kind of there. It's not very expressive, and I know that this isn't supposed to be this big emotional piece. I get that, but this is almost too objective. It's just kind of there with no feeling or emotion whatsoever. Okay, typography. Let's take a look at the indent here. You're about, oh boy, it looks about nine spaces deep on your indent. In typography, you only have to go 3, maybe 4 spaces tops. And then another thing is that you want to always show how are you going to show your new paragraphs. Here you're showing this really deep indent, okay? And then here, I'm not sure what this is. This paragraph ends and then this one just starts. So there's no indent there. So there's some real confusion there. The problem with an indent that deep is right here, is that look at that real deep indent, and that short line there just decimates both your margins, punches holes in them, and just makes them really unattractive. So this two things there are, one is called a widow, and you've got 2 of them in your type right here. This is one right here, and this is one right here. A widow is a word that sits on the bottom of a paragraph alone. You don't want that. And then the other way would, and in conjunction with that, I should say, is that you would want to pull that in. That's why you don't want to indent so deep. Okay, your rags. Rags are starting on the right column, and the left column, they're okay. This is almost too mechanical. These are pretty good. And these are really good, except for right there, you've got this pattern. You don't want any patterns. You want long, short, long, short, long, short without noticing. So let me find a few lines of good rags. Here's a few lines of good rags right here, long, short, long, short. That's really good right here. But what you don't want are these patterns here. See that whoop right there? And this pattern here is a whoop right there. And this whoop right there. You don't want this whoop right there. You don't want that. So you really want to take care of that, okay? I would definitely like to see a drop cap, and I'd like to see a pull quote. Also, the page is missing folios, so you'll want to think about that. But other than that, I think you're set up pretty good. Your type is set up pretty good. And like I said, I understand you're going for this kind of stark feel, but I just think this is too much. It's really difficult to read blue type. It's set in a serif typeface with relatively small type and very, very close kerning, set on a purple background. Almost impossible to try to get that to work without huge type. So want you to think about that. I would say the easiest way to rectify that. Now, whenever you're reversing type, you want to use sans serif type. It's easier to read when it's reversed. Think about that. So if you have any questions at all, please give me a holler and I'll see if I can describe things further. Anyways, good job. Thanks.